How I built the Dick Korda world record holder came about just by fate. Somebody had seen on the internet that I built model airplanes, and their father had passed away, and there was a box full of airplane parts. I had heard of Dick Korda mainly from the video The Longest Flight that is available on NIFA's YouTube. NIFA's plans. Here are some Korda plans you can order. Also in the box of stuff were some Paul Jones Company plans. I'd never heard of Paul Jones. This one I donated to the National Air Museum in Muncie. This Taylor Cub needed a little repair, which I did, and I made some flights, and I have not done much with this glider, which I wasn't real impressed with. The plans for the world record holder were in real poor shape, and part of it was missing, so I printed out new plans I downloaded from AutoZone. These old planes are so intricate and have so many curves and a lot of work to build. It makes me think of like the older homes or old automobiles. Some places they seem to be overbuilt, and other places they seem to be underbuilt. My experience in larger rubber models was first with the Wilbur that Jim O'Reilly had suggested as a good larger model to start with. The Wilbur stab looked to me to be overbuilt, and the wing was weak, and it broke on launch one time. I also built the Gollywog just because it's so popular, and also I had built this model with a single blade propeller that I didn't think was as efficient as a two blade. So the world record holder came from the Bird Model Airplane Company that I had not heard of. So the two fuselage sides were mainly done, and it came with a prop blank. So I glued all the cross pieces, trying to keep everything square, and I redid some of the glue joints. For the most part, I thought it came out pretty good. Next, I built the stab, which was way more work than any stab I'd built before, as was the vertical fin, which seems really large to me. Well, I set up the different pieces as building progressed. The rear spar was not shown on the plan, and the notches didn't match up, which seemed confusing to me. There's 30 ribs in the wing, and so I redid the notches so they lined up, and then I put vertical webbing between the front and the rear. I also put a small dihedral brace in the wing joints, not shown on the plan. There's over 100 gussets in the wing. I covered individual pieces with tissue. I put a trim scheme on the plane like was shown on the plans, which is a lot of work, but it does look pretty good, at least from a distance. The back of the fuselage is a plug that was supposed to be taped on, but I put a hinge on it so I could do a dethermalizer, which the original didn't have, and I made sure that it was epoxied and fiberglassed on the fuselage. I really wanted to make sure that the tail was secure with the fuselage because it's rather large and could put a lot of stress on it. For wheels, I had some plastic wheels, and some kind person through the internet sent me some balsa ones, which are much lighter. The landing gear is made out of bamboo. I'm using some modern electronics for RDT and also GPS to find the plane. The Korda didn't have a dethermalizer on this plane, but he had a 54-minute flight that landed within 5.5 miles of the launch, and he was able to find it. Before covering the rest of the fuselage, I tested out my freewheel mechanism that appears to work good. The plans showed a different way of doing it, made out of sheet brass, but this seemed to be a more popular way. I just have a small amount to do, and then I'm going to start doing test flights, and I'll make another video.